You're watching To The Point. I'm Preeti Chaudhary. The big news, of course, coming in from the national capital. Swati Maliwal, and that's the news that we are breaking, who was in conversation with the Delhi police for the last 4 hours, has finally recorded a statement. She has given a written complaint. What does that exactly mean? What does it entail? We're going to try and get a larger understanding. But the news that we are breaking right now, according to our Delhi police sources, Swati Maliwal, in her statement, told the entire incident of what went down on Monday 13th to the police. Swati Maliwal also told the cops about the circumstances under which she made the PCR call. The police has initiated legal proceedings in the case based on Swati Maliwal's statement. Also, now the NCW chief, Rekha Sharma, has also reacted, tweeting out that she's proud of Swati Maliwal for finally recording her statement. In this, it is a police complaint. Cutting across to my colleague Arvind Oja, who's joining us for more. Arvind, Swati Maliwal ने एक पुलिस कंप्लेंट दर्ज की है. कौन-कौन उसमें मेंशन है, क्या-क्या चार्जेस उससे लग सकते हैं, सारी डिटेल्स बताइए.
देखिए, अभी दिल्ली पुलिस ने 4 घंटे तक जो स्वाति मालीवाल के घर पर रही, 2 सीनियर ऑफिसर थे दिल्ली पुलिस के, एक्सपीरियंस ऑफिसर्स. उन्होंने न सिर्फ स्वाति मालीवाल का स्टेटमेंट भी रिकॉर्ड किया, उन्होंने रिटर्न में कंप्लेंट भी दी है. और जो सीनियर ऑफिसर जो स्वाति मालीवाल के घर पर मौजूद थे, वो दिल्ली पुलिस कमिश्नर को अब ब्रीफ कर रहे हैं. जो कंप्लेंट दिया गया है उसके आधार पर लीगल ओपिनियन लिया जाएगा और उसके बाद फिर एफआईआर दर्ज की जाएगी. और एफआईआर दर्ज जब होगी तो उसमें कौन कौन से सेक्शन लगेंगे, इसके बारे में जानकारी दी जाएगी. लेकिन एक बात साफ है प्रीति, की कहीं न कहीं स्वाति मालीवाल वो आम आदमी पार्टी के कई नेताओं के संपर्क में नहीं है. अभी आधे घंटे के दौरान ये जानकारी हमें मिली. नंबर 1. नंबर 2, 13 मई को क्या इंसिडेंट हुआ था. 13 मई को 3:34 पर स्वाति मालीवाल ने पीसीआर कॉल क्यों की, सीएम हाउस पर क्या क्या हुआ था, इस बारे में डिटेल में जानकारी दिल्ली पुलिस को स्वाति मालीवाल ने दी है, ऐसा टॉप अधिकारियों ने हमें बताया है. उसके अलावा रिटर्न कंप्लेंट दी है. अब आरोपी किन किन को बनाया है, क्योंकि जो कॉल की गई थी वो कॉल आपको फिर से मैं बताना चाहता हूँ. 9:34 पर जो कॉल की गई थी, उस कॉल में स्वाति ने ये बताया था कि उन्होंने मुझे विभव से पिटवाया है. तो उन्होंने वो कौन है ये स्वाति ही बता सकती है, और विभव सबको मालूम है, अरविंद केजरीवाल के पीए हैं. लेकिन रिटर्न कंप्लेंट में क्या कुछ स्वाति मालीवाल ने लिखा है, ये दिल्ली पुलिस अभी बताने की स्थिति में नहीं है. लीगल ओपिनियन उस पर भी लिया जा रहा है. जो सीनियर अधिकारी 4 घंटे तक स्वाति मालीवाल के घर पर मौजूद थे, उन्होंने दिल्ली पुलिस कमिश्नर को बकायदा इसकी ब्रीफिंग दे रहे हैं कि क्या क्या बात हुई है. जो रिटर्न कंप्लेंट है उस पर लीगल एक्सपर्ट से राय भी ली जाएगी कि क्या धाराएं बन सकती हैं, क्या धाराएं नहीं बन सकती हैं. उसके बाद एक प्रोसेस होती है एफआईआर की.
चलिए, बहुत शुक्रिया अरविंद हमसे जुड़ने का. Arvind Oja joining us with more details. A written complaint has been made. What are the charges? Who is the complaint against? We're going to get more details. Word coming in also now from the Aam Aadmi Party that it does seem she has lodged a complaint. Sources close to Swati Maliwal also telling us that apparently she had given a couple of days for the party to take action. When no action was taken, she has now, as the police came to her doorstep to ask her, has now filed a written complaint. With that, let's quickly shift focus to the other big story that we are tracking very closely, which is setting the national political narrative as well. The battle lines for 2024 viewers are drawn, and in the latest is the question of Muslim quota. It has been brought up by the Prime Minister, where he said if the Congress comes to power, they will give reservation or quota to the Muslim community to the tune of 15%. I today spoke with Priyanka Gandhi in Rai Bareli, asking whether the Congress was planning to give reservation to the minorities. Listen in on how it all played out.
मुझे याद है उस समय मैं सीएम था, और जब ये बात कांग्रेस ने उठाई थी तो मैंने उसका मुख्यमंत्री रहते हुए पुरजोर विरोध किया था. कांग्रेस उस समय चाहती थी कि देश के सारे बजट का 15% सिर्फ मुसलमानों पर खर्च हो, तब भाजपा के जबरदस्त विरोध के बाद ये कामयाब नहीं हो पाए थे। लेकिन कांग्रेस कह रही है कि एससी, एसटी, ओबीसी और गरीबों का आरक्षण छीनकर मुसलमानों को दे देगी। कांग्रेस आपकी संपत्ति को भी जब्त करके उसका हिस्सा अपने वोट बैंक को देने की तैयारी में है। लेकिन कांग्रेस और इंडी अगाड़ी वाले कान खोल करके सुन ले, मोदी धर्म के आधार पर न बजट बांटने देगा और न ही धर्म के आधार पर आरक्षण देगा।
The Prime Minister, in his last statement, has said, ma'am, and the reason why I'm asking you, Ms. Gandhi, is that because you keep saying, why are you quoting what the BJP is saying, is because it's important for your voters. He said that, to quote him, धर्म के नाम पर आरक्षण मैं कभी होने नहीं दूंगा, और वो एक पार्टी करती है. Is the Congress looking at getting in आरक्षण in what he says for the minority?
Whatever the Congress has stated in its manifesto is what the Congress's policy is. I have not seen this stated anywhere in the Congress manifesto. In fact, I have not seen any of the things that the Prime Minister claims are in our manifesto, including that we will steal buffaloes, we will take away your Mangal Sutras, we will take away your jewels and give them to X or Y or Z. None of this is in our manifesto.
It's a big charge.
I would advise the Prime Minister to read our manifesto before he speaks about it. And the other advice I would give him, although I'm younger than him and shouldn't be advising him, is that he should speak about his manifesto. What is the BJP offering to the public today? Is it offering just a list of complaints and criticisms of the Congress party? Is its only campaign that the Congress party has not done anything in 70 years? Is that all it has? Because if that's all it has, it's not working. It has worked for 2 elections. It's not working anymore.
All right, let's take this debate to our panelists. Is this fear-mongering by the Bharatiya Janata Party, or is there somewhere down the line a veiled attempt of the Congress to, if at all they are voted into power, to look at minority quota? Muslim quota is what the Prime Minister called it. Sanju Verma, as per Priyanka Gandhi, says, look at our manifesto. Does it say we are going to give Muslim quota? Why is the BJP fear-mongering?
You know, Preeti, I always say that the proof of the pudding is in the eating, and actions speak louder than words. And indeed, if that is true, then let's not kid ourselves. Let's speak about facts and not engage in rhetoric. The hard facts are these. In undivided Andhra Pradesh in 2005, it was the Congress government then in the state, and it was the Congress which was in power in the center also. We had Manmohan Singh in power in the center. And Andhra Pradesh gave quota within quota to the Muslim community to circumvent the 1992 Supreme Court judgment, which clearly says that reservation on the basis of religion is neither acceptable nor desirable. Point number 2. Now move away from Andhra Pradesh. In 2007, again it was the Congress which was in power in the center, and you had DMK's Karunanidhi who was in power. He was the chief minister in Tamil Nadu. And in 2007, Tamil Nadu gave a 3.5% quota within quota to Muslims to circumvent the Supreme Court ruling of 1992. And mind you, in 2008, there is the famous Usha Mehra Committee. The Usha Mehra Committee specifically pointed out the Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu examples. The Usha Mehra Committee castigated the Congress government for vote bank and appeasement politics and said that quota within quota is harming the interests of Dalits and Adivasis. I want to ask Priyanka Vadra, since she has this habit of giving advice to all and sundry, despite saying that she's younger and she shouldn't be advising the PM, I want to ask her, आपकी क्या मजबूरी थी प्रियंका वड्रा मैडम कि आपने उषा मेहरा कमेटी ऑफ 2008 उसकी रिकमेंडेशन को लागू नहीं किया? By not implementing the Usha Mehra committee recommendations, you actually stole reservations from the Muslim community and gave it to Dalits and Adivasis. That's the hard but unpalatable fact for many.
All right, I want to bring in Ghanshyam Tiwari into this conversation. Ghanshyam Tiwari, the fact is, whether or not the Congress has it in its manifesto, whether or not the Samajwadi Party has it in its manifesto, there is clear attempt, at least, for you to constantly clarify on the fact that you will not give quota.
Good evening, Preeti, to you, my fellow co-panelists and the viewers. The three things that are important. One, that Prime Minister of India, Mr. Modi, has led a hateful campaign to debrand and create propaganda against opposition parties on things that are not written on any manifesto. And then he goes around either crying in an interview or lying in an interview saying that, I have absolute faith in the secularism of the country, and I come from a family which has surrounded by Muslim families. The flip-flop of the Prime Minister is not determining the narrative of this campaign. The narrative of opposition is very clear, that India has been robbed. The poor in India, middle class of India have been robbed. The youth have been robbed of their job opportunities. Women have been robbed of their confidence when they see Prajwal Revanna and Braj Bhushan Sharan Singh becoming the Hanumans of Bharatiya Janata Party. And the farmers have been robbed of MSP. That is the reason Prime Minister wants to distract people. As far as the Muslim quota is concerned, it is a political consensus in India between the executive, between the judiciary and everyone, that religion-based quota will not exist. However, in different states, subcastes do get quotas, but this is something that even the Prime Minister as Chief Minister of Gujarat knows. But this is not something that he would want to
All right, I want to bring in Rashid Kidwai. Okay, I want to bring in Rashid Kidwai before I go back to Sanju Verma. Rashid Kidwai, what is the thinking of the Congress here? Because somewhere down the line, the party has tried very hard, at least in the heat of the campaign, to try and steer clear of any conversation which comes to the minority, quota, reservation, Hindu-Muslim. They've tried very hard to avoid it.
Indeed, Swati, this is indeed, Preeti, this is a kind of drummed up narrative. How is it relevant? I mean, quotas in India among all caste communities is based on economic and social backwardness. That is a criteria. You look at Sanju Verma's party, which is an ally of TDP. TDP has offered, so to say, Muslim quota, but on the grounds of backwardness. The BJP government in several states is exactly doing that. How is it? Why there is, Preeti, there is an attempt to otherize Muslims? They are also bona fide voters. They pay taxes. There is economic backwardness. If there are certain castes and communities within that, the Muslim community which face backwardness historically, so Mandal Commission has stipulated that there should be quota for those, communities based on their profession, and it is there. So why is BJP and Mr. Modi drumming up all these things? What is the relevance of it? I don't get it. Other than that, to make it, kind of.
Sanju Verma, what is the relevance of it? Okay. Rashid Kidwai spoke of the TDP. Another example is your ally, the JDS in Karnataka. The sheer fact in Karnataka, one talks about minority quota. It was actually Deva Gowda who brought it in.
Okay, let me be very clear, Preeti. Whether it was Veerappa Moily who signed the quota within quota deal for Muslims in 1994 and Deva Gowda implemented it in 95-96, that is up for debate. But Mr. Kidwai is a very erudite person. I would just like to state some hard facts for his consumption without being offensive. Please understand, Mr. Kidwai, and more importantly, Preeti Chaudhary's audience needs to know this. I always say that the amount of work done by Narendra Modi for the minorities, especially Muslims, is unthinkable, and the Muslim community owes him a lot, because Congress ने सिर्फ मुसलमानों का vote bank politics के लिए इस्तेमाल किया. Preeti, please bear with me. Let me give out some facts. It will take me 30 seconds. 31% of PM Awas Yojana allocated to minorities, especially Muslims. 33% of PM Ayushman Bharat allocated to minorities, especially Muslims. 34% of PM Kisan allocated to minorities, especially Muslims. 36% of PM Ujjwala Yojana allocated to minorities, especially Muslims. 37% of PM Mudra Yojana allocated to minorities, especially Muslims. Every year, more than 4,000 Muslim women go for Hajj without a male accomplice, as in without a mehram. And in the last 10 years, 11 crore young boys and girls from the minority community, especially Muslim young men and women, have been given scholarships for secondary and higher education thanks to Narendra Modi's politics of Vikas bhi, Virasat bhi, Shiksha bhi, Sanskriti bhi. So people who are demonizing Narendra Modi are actually people who have completely lost the narrative and lost their marbles, and hence the best way of trying to win an election, which the Dot Alliance has already lost, is to undermine the Prime Minister's credibility, but that is not working on the ground.
All right, okay. Ghanshyam Tiwari, 30 seconds for a rebuttal. We are closing the show there.
If Prime Minister had done these measures that Sanju Verma eloquently speaks about, then he would not be leading with hateful campaigns against Muslims. The first 4 phases of elections where BJP is now facing a loss, a rout, is because Prime Minister led, or maybe he was advised poorly, led a hateful campaign against Muslims, did not talk about the day-to-day issues that matter to people, stood on a stage with Prajwal Ravana and said that vote for him and I will be powerful, and people of India rejected him. As a result, now his trying interview after interview, trying to recover that ground, but that is lost. His flip-flops, the data that Sanju Verma tells is not going to stand against the hateful campaign and poor advice that he received that do not speak against on day-to-day issues, speak about issues that don't matter.
All right. With that, I'm gonna close the bulletin, but trust, this is going to continue in days to come, especially as the campaign peaks, where, like in Uttar Pradesh, it moves towards the east. A highly polarizing narrative running right now across the board. But will it get traction on ground? That remains to be seen, either sides of the divide.